Hello and welcome back. I wanted to give a little bit of an energy update since the solar eclipse. It's been about a week and a half since then, and the energy is a little crazy. I know a lot of people are feeling it in a lot of different ways, and there's cycles that are repeating and there's thoughts that are coming up that are kind of unfavorable. And so I wanted to sort of validate some thoughts or feelings that you might be having, and then potentially provide some guidance on maybe how we can navigate this together. So let's get right into it. So the thing about eclipses as a whole is that it's a massive amount of energy. And this one I felt particularly tapped into, same with the lunar eclipse, because it really felt like a cycle was demanding to be closed. And in the lunar eclipse video, we talked about how there were potentially past people coming back to the surface, past thoughts, past beliefs, and we were asked to analyze them. And now it kind of feels like those thought patterns are coming to a close, or at least we're being asked to put a close to the chapter. And so one of the biggest things that I wrote down was, letting go of past selves. So for me, there was like childhood versions of me, high school versions of me, college, and then even now, and just kind of analyzing like, okay, so these are all the things that happened. Is there a way for me to reframe it in my mind? Right, I often refer to college as the worst 4 years of my life. Is there an opportunity to think about that differently? How can I look at the past and gather lessons from it? And what potentially have I missed, right? Like as life goes on, obviously we have the intuition and the thought process, okay, maybe I should learn from this. But as we get older, we might have potentially acted differently in the past, or we might have responded differently in the past, right? And so we have better perspective when we get older because obviously we have more life experience. And so is there, or I should say, are there things that potentially you have missed? Are there lessons that maybe we can pick up and implement now that potentially we've missed in the past? And so that was a big thing for me. It was kind of like, okay, so these are all the things that happen in your life, and I potentially could have missed a lesson here and there, right? Because if I'm 22 years old, I'm only gonna have the maturity of a 22-year-old, and so I might respond to things in a certain type of way, but now being 26, how would I act? And so it's kind of like reflecting on the past, especially some of the thought processes that you currently have, and just see like, okay, have I had this thought before? How long have I had this thought? How long have I had this belief system? Where did this belief system come from? And is it serving me? Is it helping me? And so, a lot of it has also been like letting go of those past selves and just being in the now, right? Like a big focus has been being present, and I think that's a focus that's going to be there for the rest of time. But being present, and what does that actually mean? Like, what does it actually mean to be present? That's something that we hear all the time, but have we actually put that into practice? There's a lot of lessons that have been shoved down our throat, and perhaps because we've heard it so much, it's like lost meaning in a sense, but being present, letting go, like these themes are gonna be there until you do it. So, it's important to acknowledge how often certain things are coming up and to reflect on it and to act on it, right? Like with this Aries season, it's Happy New Year, by the way, to those who celebrated this past weekend. But with this Aries season per Vedic astrology, we're being facilitated and we're being pushed in a direction to have a new beginning. But in order for us to have that new beginning, something has to be let go of, right? We can't have the new and the old at the same time. It just doesn't work. So if we say we want this new beginning, are we actually purging to let that new beginning occur? And what is required of you to do that, right? Like what questions can you ask yourself? What I started asking myself is like, okay, so if I know that I'm holding on to certain things, that kind of leads me to believe that I have an attachment to maybe thought processes, philosophies, people, belief systems, events from the past. How can I learn from those situations and also let go of them, right? Because if I have this attachment to it, potentially I have a desire of some sort. Maybe it's validation, maybe it's being right, maybe it's, I don't know, like I think justice, or I'm feeling like this balance that potentially needs to occur. Like, what is it that I'm desiring from the past? Like, is there some sort of judgment or justice that you're seeking? And in that way, it's like, okay, so if I have this desire, let's just take that as an example. If I have this desire for justice, it's like, what is that justice going to bring me today? Like, like, imagine that situation. Imagine if, like, you did get justice from that situation. What would my life look like now? Would it be much different? How would I feel about the situation? And is there an opportunity for me to feel that way without the justice? Right? Because, like, justice comes and it does, like, everything does work out in the end, and that is true. So can I start acting like everything has worked out for me? And that's kind of a way for you to let go, right? Because that's what's one way to just be like, okay, let's actually move on from what's happened in the past. Let's actually move on from these thought processes and beliefs that are stale and just, I don't even know where they came from, but I have them. And let's move forward. And so it's been a lot about balance, and I did a little bit of a tarot pull before I got on camera today. And it really helped me because it helped me understand that I think a lot of people right now are feeling this, like, need for balance, or potentially like wanting justice or wanting some sort of strength to get through this time. And so, like, or maybe just like this wish fulfillment state that you're looking to receive. And there's just a lot of like open-endedness potentially, like, okay, I don't actually know where I'm headed. I know that I'm busy. I know that I'm booked. I know that I have things that I need to be doing, but it's hard for me to do those things. And so that kind of leads me into my next point, is that you are in the driver's seat of your own life. So the best thing that you can do for yourself is learn time management, basic time management skills. And I got this from like the Two of Pentacles, which I don't know if you guys believe in tarot, but it helps me just kind of like paint a story as to what's happening. But regardless, I think that there's just like this lack of balance or search of balance that people are having. And you're looking to the outside to make that occur, when in reality, balance is found within. Peace is found within, happiness is found within. It's very hard to do if you don't let go, and if you have desires for justice, permanence, or balance even. So it's better to kind of, again, I know I sound like a broken record, but to let go and to purge and to just release the clutch, right? Like, it's not about apathy, it's about releasing the clutch that you have on something. And that's what letting go is. And there's multiple ways that you can let go, and it's definitely personal, and you have to want to let go. So, and I have a couple videos. I have one on this page called The Mechanism of Letting Go. I have one on my TikTok page that's pinned for 2 years now, but it's based on the David Hawkins book, Letting Go, from chapter 2. And, you know, there's a place where you can start to feel that pain in your body. And when you take a deep breath in meditation, and you exhale, where in your body are you feeling discomfort? Where in your body are you feeling uncomfortable or pain or suffering? Usually it's my chest or my throat. When I start to think about it, I start to actually just let that pain be, or let that feeling be. You can open your eyes, but I let that feeling in my body stay, and I don't judge it, I don't perceive it, I don't name it, I don't think about it in that way. I just let the feeling occur. And in that same way, when we actually understand this practice and we actually implement this practice, when we're feeling really frustrated or really out of balance or really, you know, out of place, it helps us understand what to do with our thoughts. It helps us understand what to do with our emotions as a whole, right? So our emotions don't define us, just like how our thoughts don't define us. We allow for our emotions and our thoughts to define us. We allow for our thoughts to define us, okay? So when you kind of embrace this mechanism that I was just showing, you realize, okay, so I'm not supposed to judge these feelings that are occurring. I'm not supposed to perceive them. I'm not supposed to call them anything. Just like that, when an emotion occurs, let it flow. Let it be. Don't judge it. Don't perceive it. We're supposed to feel our emotions, not dwell on them. And so feel them like a river, right? Let it flow. And just like that with thoughts, we're meant to let the thoughts flow. Like if we're at an intersection and there's a red light and we're in a car and it's stopped, we're not going to necessarily watch every car that passes by. Sure, if there's one car that you really like, you might follow that until you can't anymore. Or if there's a car that's similar to yours, you might follow it until you can't anymore. But eventually the cars pass you. Just like that, we should allow for the thoughts to pass you. We should allow for the thoughts to pass and not hold on to one of them, right? That's another form of attachment, another form of desire. And so our goal is to kind of relinquish the desires, let go of things. And we can do that in small ways in our lives every day, right? And if there's like this massive overarching thing that you're being asked to let go of, I would start small. I would really start small with like these tiny things, like letting your emotions be and not letting them take over you, not letting your thoughts take over you. Just kind of being like, okay, I'm in the driver's seat. I'm the one who has the ownership over my life. I'm the one who has to take ownership of my time, right? This is my life. And it's owning that. It's having the self-respect to say that. And I think that that's a huge thing, that's a marker of strength in my opinion. Right? It's to say, this is my life and this is what I'm going to do with it. And in order for us to have the strength to do that, we need to find the balance. And that balance is right here. It's not outside of us. So the things that we can do, right, is we can take action where we need to take action. And when we have thoughts that are linked to desire, when we have attachments, sometimes our personality is all about what we don't have. Sometimes we turn into these people who are so focused on getting the next thing that, it shapes who we are. Like desires are not a bad thing at all. I don't want to confuse anybody. Desires are not bad. It's just that they are not the destination. If you have like a picture of a road, right? And you have these like guideposts, like deer, right? Or stop sign, or like all these like, just imagine like a few road signs on a winding road, right? That is life. So the winding road is life and you have these guideposts. Your desires are like that. It just tells you what road to go on. It's not the destination. So there's no need to attach to them because they're gonna happen anyway. They're gonna be the road that you take. So why attach to them is kind of the question too, right? And I think another big thing for me has been, and this is way more personal, but it's been thinking about the things that are actually important to me, right? A lot of times when we see, when we have like interactions with other people, our family, our social media, right? There's like certain expectations on how people should show up. And so it's really about kind of taking a step back and being like, what is it that I want? Like, it's hard sometimes to answer that question. Like, what is it that I want to do? How do I want to spend my time? How do I want to progress in my dreams? How do I want to go with my goals, right? It's not about what's going to be validated by others. It's not about seeking validation in others. It's about what do I think is right? What do I want to do, right? In a time where we're in our 20s and it's confusing and we don't know what our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s are going to look like, obviously, it's important to kind of like let yourself have the room to be wrong and to be stupid, and just obviously with caution, but it's important to take a leap. It's important to have courage and to have strength, especially when we have the luxury to do so. And so, take the plunge and do the things that you want to do. And it's okay to be selfish with your time. You're going to be a better person for other people because of it, right? And there's no need to play victim or be a martyr to anything, not even our own selves. Sometimes I find myself, like if I'm really overwhelmed with my emotions, I sometimes feel like I'm being a victim to myself, right? No audience needed. I'm okay with playing the victim by myself, being like just drowning in self-pity. And I've learned that doing that doesn't allow me to create. It doesn't allow me to be creative or happy or productive or even, helpful to other people, because I'm so consumed in me. So the best thing to do is to let go and to also acknowledge that you are in the driver's seat. You are the owner of your time. So use it wisely. And so I think that's been like a lot of the focus lately since the solar eclipse. And it's been a lot about finding balance, but finding balance internally, because that will manifest outside, right? That will bring that physical reality in. Once you start to have a certain vibration, certain frequency, certain thought processes, certain actions, and you hold that, you will stay in that. And that will reflect in your outer reality. And then it kind of feeds back in. But what happens right now, what may be happening right now, is maybe you don't know where to go next. And so there's this like influx, and there's just like this imbalance that's happening. And as a result, it's manifesting outside. But just like how, we manifested that, we can manifest for better. And so those have been like my main things. It's like letting go of past selves, right? Like the teenage version of me, the college version of me. It's reflecting on that and being like, okay, what lesson could I have missed that now I'm 26 years old, I have the maturity to look back on the past and acknowledge some of my mistakes, or acknowledge some of the good things that I did too, because that's also important. And just like look at it objectively and say, okay, what can I take into this next phase in my life, right? This Aries season brings about possibilities. It's new, it's exciting, it's the new year. What are our resolutions? Those are all the kinds of questions that we might be asking right now. Like, what do I do next? What's next? What's next is applying the logic of, I have now let go, therefore there's now room in my life for me to invite the new. And that's exciting. That's the part that's invigorating. And it's important to hold on to that energy and to be excited about that energy and to claim it. Right? All of these things can happen around us, the solar eclipse, all of these different energies can happen around us, but unless we own that and claim that and say, okay, I'm gonna act on it accordingly, nothing's gonna really happen. And so it's important to reflect on what it is that you want in your life and to say, this is what I want in my life, but to not be attached to it, but to recognize that that's just the goal. That's just the guideposts. It's not the end all be all. So I hope that helps when it comes to reducing your attachment to things and to let go, because those two themes, until it's done, it will keep coming up. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's a lesson that has to be learned with time, and it will continue happening until we have truly let go. So it's okay if for some reason you're not able to let go of certain things, or you don't want to let go of certain things. I understand that being comfortable in what's known is better than being uncomfortable in what's unknown. I understand that. Like, it is so easy to just do the exact same things every single day and not live a different life and not jump out of our comfort zone. I understand that feeling. In more ways than I can even say. But what happens at the end of the day? There's just like this, oh man, I lived the same life as I did the day before. And it's like this, like, ugh, I hate this. I am so sick and tired of this. I need some change. I need some this. And that's when we go get a new haircut. That's when we go on a trip. That's when we buy the new thing. We try to find ways to fulfill that need, right? We try to find ways to like put some cement over this hole that we have. But eventually it rains and the cement washes away. And so it's like, how do I like satisfy this feeling of like unfulfillment? It's to find that fulfillment within, which is letting go. Because in order to create something new, something has to be purged out. And so yeah, I really felt this need to talk about those two topics in particular, because I want to encourage you to feel empowered and in the wish fulfilled right now. And the best way to do that is to own it. It's to literally say, I have everything that I need. I have everything that I need right now. I have everything I need right now. And to believe it, right? Gratitude is the most important thing that we can do in this lifetime. It is extremely important to just be grateful. And that in and of itself helps transmute negative energies. just being grateful. And it's so easy. And it's not to be grateful so that we can get something. It's to be grateful because that's the right thing to do. And so I encourage journaling, as always. I always encourage journaling. I encourage proper meditation. I encourage, just introspecting and talking to yourself and just checking in and saying, hey, am I doing the things that I want to be doing? Am I owning my time? Am I happy with what I have? And that will bring ways to the new and exciting and the fun things that we're looking to bring into our lives, right? It's important to have dreams. It's important to look at your desires as to what they are, guideposts. And it's important to be courageous and to be strong and to march forward towards the things that you want and to work towards the things that you want with purposeful action, and to not let life drag you by, because we all want to save the world. We all want to be there for our communities. We all want to help other people. I know that that's something that we all desire, but how do we get there? We do that in small ways. Right? We do that by letting go of these tiny little annoying emotions that we have throughout the day. We do that by checking in with ourselves, by acknowledging our past selves, by recording the things that we've learned and potentially understanding what we've missed from those prior lessons. We pray. There's lots of different ways where we can start to work towards the things that we want in a spiritual way. And that's definitely my favorite path is to take the spiritual road and then to combine that with inspired action. But the only way that I've found to actually have inspired action is when I'm calm inside. And I can't be calm inside if I have attachments to things. So I hope this helps. I hope that you are feeling okay. I hope that you're feeling positive, and if you're not, that's okay as well. Just sit in the feeling, sit in the emotion, potentially download Letting Go, David Hawkins, just to read chapter 2, because it's really, really beneficial. You can check out my Letting Go video. I go into it there, and there's tons of free resources online to help you let go. But it's a spiritual journey that you're on, therefore it's not gonna happen overnight, and it takes persistent work, and it's really about introspecting consistently, but not in a way that you're psychoanalyzing every little tiny thing about yourself. Because I've had healing sessions with people and they'll go through something and they'll feel the emotions of something and they'll try to process it in that moment. But what again, as I keep reiterating, it's to feel the emotions as they are. Don't judge them, don't perceive them. Maybe in like 2-3 days you can psychoanalyze yourself and say, hey, what should I have learned in that moment? But right when an emotion is happening, right when a negative thought is occurring, right, just let that be, let it sit there, because it'll probably teach you something more later rather than processing it in that moment. So I know this energy is crazy. I wanted to share like a little fun fact that happened, not even fun fact, but it's like a little fun anecdote that happened. Like these solar eclipse glasses. On the day of the solar eclipse, I didn't have any and I couldn't see the solar eclipse because of that. And so I was really bummed, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go downstairs anyway, and just to see if like anyone else was there and if I could like borrow glasses or something. And this lady, this sweet, sweet lady, ripped her glasses in half and gave me one of them, and I like stuck it in my journal because I thought it was so sweet, and it was like the kindest gesture, and it made my week and this week too, because I think about it and I'm like, that is the nicest thing ever. It's like she ripped the glasses just for me to have my own little square. But she was like sharing the glasses with me up until then, and then she was like, you know what, just you can have it. And it was so nice. So I thought that was so sweet, and I wanted to share that there are some really, really nice people out there, and just sometimes you just gotta go downstairs and take a chance. At least that's what that taught me. So I hope you have a good day. I hope that you're okay in this energy. I hope that you're feeling all right and attempting to find balance within yourself, because it's a lifelong journey. So don't feel like you need to do something tonight to make this happen. But listen to some music, calm down, feel relaxed within your body, journal for a little bit, and then, you know, talk to God or spirit or the universe in meditation and just see what comes up. Another way to really figure out what's coming up is to do asana, right? Is to go into yoga and really just move with your body, see what feelings are coming up, see what kind of emotions are coming up, because that's when that guilt and that shame can kind of really purge out. And at least that's what I found. So yeah, I hope this helps, and I hope it validated and potentially provided you with some guidance. I really enjoy making these like little energy check-ins, so I kind of want to, even if there's no astrological or spiritual holiday happening, I still want to check in with you in this way because it helps me process as well. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.